Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Tuesday, 22nd day of March. Here we go. Today we need to explain to you about the upcoming fast. It's going to be on Wednesday, the 23rd day of March. Here's some of the basics. It's not a very well understood fast. Most of the fasts that we have on the Jewish calendar, not all, but most of them have to do with the destruction of the temple or one of the days that led up to it. And we mark that day with repentance in commemoration of those days. Yom Kippur, of course, is its own kind of fast, the day of repentance for the entire year. Now, the fast of Esther kind of sort of works like this. Originally, Haman's evil decree for Purim, for wiping out the Jews, was intended to be on the 13th of Adar, the day that we're going to end up fasting. Now, on that day, he thought that he was going to battle against the Jews, and the Jews weren't even going to be allowed to defend themselves, and so was the evil decree. Then the whole story of Purim happened, and Haman was gotten rid of. And after that, Ahasuerus gave the Jews permission to defend themselves against their enemies on the 13th of Adar. So the battle took place on the 13th of Adar, marked by this Wednesday, and the Jews were victorious, thank God, and they celebrated on the 14th, the day that we now call Purim. In the capital city of Shushan, the battle raged on throughout the 14th, and only on the 15th were they able to celebrate. Hence, the 15th has become the Shushan Purim, where walled cities like Shushan celebrate Purim. That's what they do in Yerushalayim. Now back to us. So on the 13th of Adar, when the original destruction was supposed to happen, the Jews were battling to defend themselves, and God helped them win the battle. Well, Jews, when they go to battle, know that their skill with their weapons is not necessarily everything that counts. They need God's help first and foremost. And God's help first and foremost comes to you when you're deserving, and you're deserving when you're good and you're repentant and everything. And therefore they fasted on the day of the battle. That was often done by good Jewish armies, and so the Jews fasted on that 13th of Adar in preparation for the battle. We fast in commemoration of that. We call it the Fast of Esther in deference to Esther, who was such an important person in this entire story. That's the gist of why we have a fast on the day before Purim, and why it's called the Fast of Esther. Now, it is rather lenient as far as fast goes. If someone is ill and knows that they will need to be eating on that day, there is a lot of leniency for it. You should still talk to your rabbi. Don't just assume that you don't have to fast. You're supposed to fast from the crack of dawn if you're healthy, 72 minutes before sunrise, and then fast until after the Megillah is completed being read, and then you can break your fast. If you're sick, you speak to a rabbi. There is some leniency for you to have a tiny bit right before the Megillah starts. But generally, healthy people are supposed to wait until after the reading of the Megillah for the breaking of their fast. Of course, special additional things are said throughout the day in Shachris and Mincha. Because it's a fast day, you'll need to go to a good shul, hopefully, or follow your siddur very closely to know all the additions that are inside of your davening on the fast of Esther. And then, of course, Wednesday night, the reading of the Megillah and all the Purim laws. So what we'll try and do is give you a whole batch of laws to remind you everything that we've been saying, so you'll have it in front of you for the day of Purim. But meanwhile, these are some of the basics that you'll need to know for the fast of Esther coming up on crack of dawn Wednesday morning. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.